All right, welcome back everyone to the show, and I'm very, very happy to be here because look at this view. I'm at my friend Wade Lighthart's penthouse here downtown Vancouver. He is one of the founders of BiOptimizers, a health supplement company that we're going to learn all about for probiotics. So Wade, man, so great to connect with you again.
Here, man.
Thanks for having me and hosting me at your incredible penthouse downtown, this beautiful city.
Thanks. Yeah, we're blessed to be here. It's a wonderful city, especially in the summertime, although we got a little overcast today, but hey, it's all good.
Yeah. Can't complain with a view like this. So we connected probably about a decade ago. I remember that you were friends with some mutual friends of mine in the health and entrepreneurial space. And I've been following your progress over the last decade, and it's been amazing to see your growth and development in helping a lot of people. And your background is actually as an athlete and basically you won a number of fitness, like you can go into that in detail about like he's a jack dude, basically is what I'm saying. He's a jack dude. So yeah, share a little bit about your background, how you got involved in the health and wellness space.
Sure. Well, it really started, I guess, when I was 15. Three interesting things happened to me. Number one, my parents moved to a very rural place. It was like 5 miles to my nearest neighbor on a dirt road. Where was it? It was in a place called Square Lake, New Brunswick, and it really was square. Okay. Yeah. And like I said, 5 miles to my nearest neighbor on a dirt road. Same time, my sister was diagnosed with cancer.
Ooh.
She was 4 years my senior, and I watched her go through the medical model for 4 years before she died. And so that had a big impact on me to know the value of health. It's not a guarantee. And then the third thing was that she gave me a bodybuilding magazine. And at that same time, so literally like all three things happened within a span of maybe a month or two. And so I literally started built myself a gym in my barn and started training and following Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Joe Weider magazines, because they didn't have the internet or anything like that back in those days. I had nothing to do, nobody around. So it was like,
you have the posters basically would be the main motivation.
I had the posters all around the thing, but there was none of this stuff that we have today. Wow. And so Arnold was my new mentor, and it turned out all right, because he said you can achieve anything with hard work, self-discipline, and a positive attitude. And no one was saying that where I was from. I was from a small town. Nobody did anything, all that sort of stuff. And so I really got into that. Later went on to study exercise physiology, got into the bodybuilding world, started competing, had terrible genetics for it, sucked at it.
Really?
But I was just too stupid to know any different. Yeah. And I just kept going. And then eventually it worked out. And after 16 years, I won the national championships and got to represent our country at the Mr. Universe contest.
Mr. Universe.
Yeah. But here's the thing. After that contest, I gained 42 pounds of fat and water in 11 weeks. I went from Mr. Universe to Mr. Marshmallow. And I was like, how is this possible? I got the best coach in the world. I got total discipline. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. How did I end up with this result? I met a fellow by the name of Dr. Michael O'Brien at that time, who was a medical doctor that was in his 70s, and he had pure skin. He was so vibrant. He had all this energy. I was like, well, dude, well, obviously, what are you doing? And I don't know. He goes, Wade, and this made such a big impact. He says, Wade, you've learned to build the body from the outside in. You haven't learned to build the body from the inside out.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, boom.
Yeah.
Because there's so many assumptions we make about what's going on internally in this chase for cosmetic ideal perfection, which is, it's on the magazines, it's in Facebook, it's in social media, it's on your Instagram, it's in all these things. And what typically is going on is people are following what I call a performance-based diet. And the performance-based diet is to look or be able to perform at a certain level relative to the sport or the industry that you're in.
Yeah.
So I think people have to recognize we celebrate athletes, we celebrate models, we celebrate actors and famous people and stuff because they look a certain way. But what we don't know behind the scenes is what are they doing that may be compromising their health to make that cosmetic ideal? And that was the case in my bodybuilding world. We were following a quote unquote performance-based diet based on bodybuilding.
Right.
And that would eventually lead you to this problem at some point in your life. And that's people end up retiring or they get sick or something happens to them. So I always realized, wow, this is terrible, but it's also an opportunity. Every crisis is. Yeah. And I followed Dr. Brian's systems. I started using enzymes and probiotics and taking back my gut health. And it started a journey. I made a full recovery, felt great. I ran a little clinic here in Vancouver. That's where I started to get kind of known in the area. I was a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And right after that, my business partner, Matt, said, hey, Wade, I think we could I think we could market you to the bodybuilding world. So we started marketing ourselves to the bodybuilding world. That evolved after, with my work in the clinic. I started realizing that the principles that I had for optimizing people's health were applicable to people who are suffering from a variety of ailments, or people who wanted to look better, or feel better, or have more energy. And so over the evolution of a decade, we ended up transforming the company to what's now known as BiOptimizers. And we've been fixing digestion since 2004. And then that's the start. Once they fix that, then we take them on the journey to kind of optimize their health, what we call biological optimized humans.
Wow. Well, that's an incredible backstory, going from Mr. Universe, the background in fitness training, to now helping people heal and build themselves up from the inside out. And I heard your whole interview with Dave Asprey about Bulletproof Health. People don't know what that is. Check it out. You had a great, one of the 5th downloaded episodes in their history, which is amazing because they've had some incredible specialists on there. So congratulations for that. But yeah, you talked on that episode a lot about gut health and probiotics. So for people who aren't super familiar with that, like, what is that supplement or system to help really heal and perform to optimize the inside out?
Well, first and foremost, I've been trained in exercise physiology and sports nutrition and things like that. And so what's interesting, I've read literally tons of books that are this thick, full of your
Human
macros and your enzyme anatomy, and you get into all the dietary stuff and all the nutrients and all the stuff. And every one of those books will have maybe a page on enzymes. But enzymes are the difference between the living and the dead. The difference between stones, plants, and peoples is enzymes. And enzymes are catalysts. The function of them is to accelerate chemical transactions inside the body. In fact, without enzymes, we couldn't efficiently produce the millions of transactions that's happening in your body at this very moment.
Wow.
Now, there was a guy by the name of Dr. Edward Howell. Edward Howell was an interesting doctor that back in the 30s and 40s, he started to examine what was happening with the shifting food manufacturing program. And basically, what he came to the conclusion is that humanity was setting themselves up for a massive health crisis. And I'll tell you why. We've been focusing on protein, carbohydrates, fats, minerals, vitamins, all that stuff. And here's the thing. When you're eating a diet, any species on the planet eats their food in a live, raw, uncooked state. So a tiger that's taken down a zebra, takes down the zebra, goes for the entrails. That's where the enzymes and probiotics are, and I'll get to probiotics in a second. Then it eats that, and then it eats the carcass and goes on its way. If I'm a bear, I'm eating a salmon, I grab it, I eat the whole thing. If I'm eating a blueberry, I eat it.
Thought of it that way.
If I'm a cow or a horse, I go for the most enzymatically rich products I can get. The living, and particularly if I can get the sprouts, which are really packed with enzymes, then I'm going to get that. And of course, whatever the food you're eating would have the natural probiotics that are instinctively work symbiotically with that organism. So you get the probiotics with the organism. However, when you cook it, when you sterilize it, when you do all the antibacterial stuff that we do in the modern food, you kill all the enzymes, you kill all the bacteria. Now, Howell took all these different species, dozens and dozens of species, and ran tests on them, feeding them enzymatically deficient diets. By the 3rd generation, guess what? Strained sociological behavior. They stopped acting like they normally do. Number 2, they started to develop genetic-based diseases that were not in their ancestors. And number 3, they lost the ability to procreate. Now, let's look at the crisis that we're experiencing in the modern food world that's not labeled as a crisis. And that is this. Since World War II, we got into mass manufacturing and distribution of food. Now, here's the benefit. In the last 100 years, we solved 2 major problems in humanity. Number 1, not enough calories. Starvation was the number 1 killer of humans. Number 2, we developed antibiotics, which people just died from infections and diseases and all this stuff like en masse. And those 2 things caused an exponential growth in the growth curve of the populations. However, they created an issue that was unexpected. And that is we were not getting the proper bacteria and the proper amount of enzymes that allowed us to support life and perform all these chemical reactions and digest and assimilate our food, because it's a single canal from your mouth to your anus. And when you eat the food, people think I just eat the food and it goes in me. No, there is a specific chemical process that is required. It's to taste, touch, smell the food, to chew the food, but then it goes into the body. The enzymes are supposed to break it down the first 30 to 60 minutes. Hydrochloric acid comes in, HCl. That finishes the job, changes the pH, activates some enzymes, deactivates others. Then as that acid is buffered using minerals coming out of the stomach, it goes into the final stage of digestion, which is where your microbiome is, your gut flora. There's hundreds of bacteria inside that, and each one does specific functions. And number one, they convert your food into energy units or building blocks. A breakdown in enzymes, a breakdown in HCl, or a breakdown in probiotics will cause an inefficient environment of digestion, absorption, assimilation. And there's another piece to it. Then what happens is when you have the bad guy bacteria, they're going to feed on the undigested food in the body. So what it shows up is poor skin conditions, acid reflux. You've got inflammatory conditions, gas, bloating, weight gain, brain fog, because 95% of your neurotransmitters are made inside the gut. Your polypeptide chains need to be broken down and they're converted into neurotransmitters. So now we have 25% of the population that can't make the polypeptide chains in order to make their brains run properly. We've got a third of the population who are suffering from digestive related conditions on any given day of the week. We have millions of people on proton pumps for what's called for heartburn and acid reflux, which is not because from too much acid, it's because from too little acid. Chronic dehydration, and a host of herbicides, pesticides, and fungicides added to our food chain, which, guess what they do? They interrupt enzymatic production. What do you see in the modern world? We see an exponential rise in genetic-based diseases. We see a lot of strange social behavior, okay? And we're seeing the rise of procreation clinics everywhere because people aren't having kids early. We're also seeing a 30% drop across the board in testosterone in men at every single age category, and a massive rise in estrogen, which is interrupting males, particularly on every single species. And so you combine all these things together, and now we have 12% of the population in the United States, or like 12% of the emergency hospital visits. Emergency hospital, going to the hospital in an ambulance. Guess what? They're gastrointestinal related issues. And we have the rise of obesity. Not because we have too many calories. I believe it's because we are actually deficient in the essential things that make us living. And so we're overeating and under moving because of these systemic and food components that are not identified in regular macro or even micro observations or testing. And so I just happened to find this out because I had a crisis and got lucky and found someone that solved this for himself. And so I've kind of mastered this message, advanced in this message, and built a company around it because I do believe this is the most critical factor facing our food supply chain over the next 10, 50 years.
Wow. Well, obviously, I don't really have to tell you guys that he knows what he's talking about. I don't think I've heard something so well articulated and presented. Probably perhaps even on this podcast, man. Like that was just something that really was well laid out, and it gives a lot of people to, for no lack of a better word, pun intended, chew on. Like that's a lot of things to think about and take into consideration for people that aren't really aware of this, because hearing your episode on Bulletproof, I've heard obviously about gut health and things like that in the past, but I haven't really put the pieces together like, hey, this might be a reason why there's fatigue in the body or just bloating and things like that. But it all starts there from, like you said, in the inside out. And I have to give you credit, actually, because you probably don't know this. You're the first person in the world that ever taught me the difference between waters. I met you when you were teaching and doing the workshops about Cajun water and the different pH balances. And since then, actually, to this day, I have all those alkaline sticks because I travel so much, you know, like I don't really have a place where I'm always all the time to have like a big machine. So I get all these alkaline sticks and people come over and they're always like, what are those sticks in the water? And I tell them your story.
That's
I'm like, this guy Wade taught me about this in Vancouver, like in like 2008 or something, about the pH balance in your water, because your body is mostly obviously water, and to have that in a anti-cancerous state is very important. And to see what you've gone on to create other supplements and everything. So just want to give you that shout out.
Thanks,
and kudos as well. Like, you're definitely making a difference around the world and helping a lot of people. So,
Thanks.
So moving forward, for people that are just kind of like working, eating, sleeping, what are some kind of hacks that they can do? Obviously, taking a look at what services you guys provide with your supplements to help with that. But is there anything else that they can kind of do in their day-to-day to try and, I guess, rebalance their inner digestion? And
well, I think there's a couple things they need to do first. And when people come to my site, I actually give away a course that summarizes how to really get your life in order around health. And it's not a product about pitching my products. Yeah. It's a product to pitch a lifestyle, and I give it away because, look, I've been lucky enough to be in this field my whole life. So I've met thousands of world-class experts. I've interviewed these people. I've summarized what they do into really 12 essential habits. And there's really 7 areas that you can work in. 3 of them are non-negotiables: deep breathing, really good water, and daily exercise. If you're not doing those things, forget the rest.
Keep it simple.
You cannot supplement your way out of a bad diet or a bad lifestyle. And in today's world, because we're so sedentary compared to our historical, I mean, think about this. The World Health Organization 75 years ago had put out that humans should walk at least 20 miles a day as basic exercise, because people walked 20 miles a day back then. My grandfather went back and forth to town in a wagon, and he yarded logs, right? It's hard to believe that in today's modern technology.
Well, just look around where we are here. Like, it's
right. This
concrete jungle.
It's a huge, and I love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to bash technology or the environment. Like, I think it's great, but we have to understand that as digital as we get, we're still subject to this physical body. That physical body needs deep breathing, clean air. It's the only thing you can do consciously and unconsciously. It needs really good water. You need to be hydrated. Most people aren't hydrated. Every supplement in the world is going to work better if you're hydrated than if you're dehydrated. That's why you go to the hospital. What do? They put you on an IV because they know the drugs aren't going to work unless they get you hydrated. And everybody's dehydrated. And then the third thing is you need to do physical, strenuous exercise every single day. And when I mean strenuous, walking isn't strenuous. That's not exercise. That's just getting around. I'm talking about something where you're breaking a sweat, you're getting your heart rate up, you're breathing heavily. And people go, well, what's the best exercise? The one that you're going to do every day. The simplest one is that right over there is that mini trampoline. I jump up here on every morning. I do a little 15-minute a day routine where I jump on that. I put my headset on. I've drank my water. I do deep breathing where I'm getting lymphatic system.
Is that the Wim Hof that you do, breathing?
Well, no, actually, I've done Wim Hof, but on that one, I do actually, while I'm jumping up and down, I'm actually going, It's kind of like Wim Hof, only I'm accelerating it because that's sitting about a foot off the ground, and I'm getting the forces of acceleration and deceleration. So I'm getting 2 times my weight being compressed without the compression, which is compressing every cell in my body, and it's creating an oxygen demand on every cell in my body. And by doing this, I'm forcing my oxygen, building up the pH in my blood really, really high, which is all the benefits in the Wim Hof program. And I'm pushing out toxins inside the system. As soon as I get off that, I drink a big mason jar of water. I drop my vitamins and minerals. I got liquid vitamins and minerals. I slam all that down. Then I go make myself a smoothie with fruits, vegetables, proteins, essential fatty acids, essential amino acids, enzymes, probiotics, everything. So the first of the day I do that. I have a big salad another part of the day, and then have whatever you want for dinner. You get that done, you're going to be 90% of the way there.
No, I totally agree. It's just about getting outside of your comfort zone to start with. And I bet if you did a day without doing this, you feel off.
You notice it.
Yeah. I think that's part of the key, because I find when I miss a workout or don't break a sweat, especially when I'm traveling and stuff, I feel just more lethargic, not the energy, and you just don't really feel optimized. So speaking of optimized, your company here, you guys were nice enough. I'll say this again because I already would have said it in the intro to the episode, but you guys are offering a 10% discount for listeners to go and check it out, and I'll have the links in the show notes. Anything that you should kind of prep people with as far as the best way to get started with it? Or?
Well, I think really one of the things that they'll get with this is we're giving away the Awesome Health course, and it's a 12-week course. It's 5 to 15-minute videos. And I basically take people through everything I've learned over 30 years and summarize it and build a systemic way of where you put your time, effort, and energy. I don't even get to supplements till the 5th week.
Oh, wow.
Because we've got a foundational tool here. And if you do all that stuff, then you can get to the optimization side, which is what I'm really passionate about. Now, yes, there are people who have compromised digestion stuff. Sure, they're going to benefit from taking our products and using that. Great. But even that is not going to get them out of these lifestyle things. And that's why we included it. We give it away to all people. And start with that. Again, the 3 things that where people run into trouble is not enough enzymes, low hydrochloric acids, particularly if you're over 40, forget it. And then a disbalance in your microbiome. And we developed a patented probiotic, which we call the Navy SEALs of probiotic. Basically, it's got some very extreme capabilities. We put it through an environment that most probiotics wouldn't survive, and then we take the survivors and then we grow a culture off that, which is just like going through Navy Blood training. I
just spent a whole month, or not month, but this past month reading about that with David Goggins' You Can't Hurt Me. We kind of talked about that before, about his buzz training, and just like inspired me to go do some other planning with the police force myself. But yeah, to try and level up to the best of the best is something that you want to achieve to, and it's awesome you guys did that with your health supplements.
Yeah, it's been really great ride, and I love the testimonials. And we do one thing I think that's really unique. That is, we offer 365-day guarantees on all our products. Somebody buys one of our products and it doesn't work, call our hotline. Yeah. We got all the girls there that are answering questions. They're well trained. Yeah. They'll say, well, I think you actually got the wrong product for what you're trying to work with. Right. So we'll send you a free bottle of the next one.
Yeah. Wow.
So we call it the Fix Your Digestion Guarantee. And if that doesn't work, we'll give you the money back. Like the bottom line is we want to remove the risk. I don't want to make money from people that don't get the value. Right. I appreciate if someone takes the chance. Yeah. And if they don't want to take any of my products, they can get the course, have it for free, and enjoy it, and make better steps and choices in their lives.
That just triggered me because I just actually bought my parents a far infrared sauna for their house in Alberta, like literally this like a couple weeks ago. And just the fact to have someone that's well trained to answer specific questions for someone's specific ailments. Because when I called, this customer service rep had no idea what they were talking about, and I could tell from day one. So to have staff that's well trained that will actually take the time to kind of walk people through that, I think is a service that's so lacking in business these days. Because like I'm like forking out, like these things aren't very cheap, and I'm doing it because my parents are in their 70s, and I'm trying to help them and help. We got it, and I love it. It's amazing technology, and I really am happy for it that we went through with the order. But I almost didn't go through with that order because there was just such lack of professionalism and competence. I'm like, I don't know if I want to trust this, but to have a resource and support staff that are able and willing to go that extra mile for people, I think it shows why you guys have been in business for so long and making such a big impact. So,
yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's great.
And every single question that they can answer gets forwarded to me directly. And if I can't answer it, I will go to the person that can answer, because I'm curious about the answer as well. And we can't solve every problem. We can't answer every question. But 99 times out of 100, we can direct you to the person that can. And that's our greater service to the world, because we want to end physical suffering. Yeah. There's no need for it. And we want to activate awesome health. I enjoy it. My business partner enjoys it. Our team enjoys it. And so it's like, once you feel this way and you have this much energy, you're like, okay, you want other people to experience that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. And I'm really grateful that you took the time here today. I know we were going back and forth to try and make this work, and I just got in last night and happy to be here today and fly out tomorrow. So I guess, is there anything else that you want to kind of touch on as far as what you're up to, or anything else people can check out? And
sure.
Obviously follow them. I'll have the links below on social media, the website. You get a 10% discount. And obviously you can't really get access to a person with this much experience and history in the space. So I highly recommend following Wade as well, and your partner Matthew. So you guys have been making a big impact, obviously for my life, but obviously in the whole space. So yeah.
Well, I think if there's one thing I could leave people with is that take action, and take action now. I'm now middle-aged, and I can tell you, time goes by really quickly.
Flies.
And the thing is, I learned at a very young age, and the advantage of my sister dying, which was tragic as it was, is I realized when I was a teenager that life isn't a guarantee, health isn't a guarantee.
True.
And so that lit a fire under me right off the bat to find out all of these things that I have over these years. And so my payback to that is to encourage people is like this, like right here, what we have, what we have as a human organism is the state-of-the-art evolutionary technology of 14 billion years of the evolution of the whole universe has led to this moment with this system. It is extremely sophisticated and it wants to be healthy. It's designed to work properly. All you need to do is put the elements into it. And the first three things is deep breathing, water, and daily exercise. You start there. As you build momentum, these other things start to come naturally. And of course, you got to get your digestive system fixed, because all the supplements, all the food, all the diets, all that stuff aren't going to work, because unless you're converting that stuff into the energy units or the building blocks, you're only getting a fraction of the value of everything else you purchase after that.
Yeah, no, I can't second that. I can't mention that enough. That I remember my grandmother, my father's mother, would always say, if you have your health, you're wealthy. And at the end of the day, you can be the richest person living in, you know, like freaking wherever. But
Steve Jobs.
Yeah. Well, that's a perfect example. He had everything. Big impact in the world, and we lost him. We lost an incredible value creator in the world because he didn't have his health. Yeah. And that's, you don't want to be the richest person in the gravesite. Correct. Well, Wade, man, it's been awesome. Thanks, dude. Super awesome, dude. Like, and just before this, we were talking a lot, and I never really knew we had so many similar mindsets of not only health but just what's going on in the world. So it's been awesome to share some of those. So yeah, guys, once again, the show notes have all the links. Go ahead and learn more, educate yourself, share this out with other people that can benefit. Obviously they can, because everyone has, like I said, the food goes in, it comes out, and what goes through the roadmap is the most important, to have everything that's going through the cleansing process for the enzymes. And man, I'm stoked to see what you're going to be doing moving forward, because you're saying how you guys are looking to really just make a bigger impact in the value that you're creating. Because now that I'm getting older, I just turned 39, I'm like focusing so much more on my health. And like when I was younger, we talked before, like I don't really drink. You've been not drinking for about 10 years. And I just look back and I kind of wish, like, I don't wish that I did those things that I did when I was young, but I was just like, oh, I wonder how I'd feel if I didn't do all those things. Right. Yeah. That's the thing, right? Yeah. Hindsight's 2020. Yeah. But yeah, just take those baby steps, like you said. Just take action every day and now. So thanks, man. All right, brother. It's been awesome. Thank you. And guys, I hope you enjoy this beautiful view. If you've never been to Vancouver, check it out. This is probably one of the best views you'll ever have of it up here. I'll actually give you a little 360 view before I turn it off here. You can see where this man is lucky enough and worked hard enough to live on top of the world. All right, guys, until next time. Yeah.